Welcome back, everybody, to the deep dive. I think this one is going to really resonate with a lot of you out there, especially those of you who are maybe just starting out your legal careers. Those of you who are still figuring out, okay, what kind of law do I really want to practice? What kind of lawyer do I want to be in? Or kind of diving into this idea of, is finding that perfect niche. Really, all it's cracked up to be is that really the key to, reaching your full potential as a lawyer and really making a contribution to the profession and to society. And the source we're looking at today actually makes a pretty bold claim.
Right.
They basically say this whole niche obsession is flawed.
Right.
And they even suggest that it could lead to like a lack of genuine connection with your work and get this, maybe even struggles with profitability.
Yeah, I mean, you would think, right? Like finding your niche is the path to success. Like that's what we're all told. But this source kind of flips that on its head and says, well, what if that's actually limiting your impact? Your ability to really connect with your clients and even, like you said, your income potential.
Yeah, it's a really interesting way to think about it. And I especially think this resonates with, young lawyers who are coming out of law school. And there's all this pressure to specialize right away.
Yeah.
Like you got to find your niche right out of the gate. And the source is saying, well, maybe that's causing us to overlook the skills that we already have.
Yep.
The strengths that we bring to the table.
Absolutely. And instead of trying to squeeze yourself into this predefined box, they're advocating for a different approach. This idea of focusing on pain points.
Pain points.
Yeah, pain points. And I think that's where this gets really interesting for lawyers, because think about it. Clients, they don't usually walk into our offices with this, burning desire to understand the nuances of tax law or,
Right.
whatever it may be. They come to us because they have a problem.
They have a problem.
A real pain point that they need solved.
Yeah.
They need a help navigating a difficult situation. Maybe they're feeling anxious. They need someone to kind of ease those anxieties and ultimately help them achieve their goals.
So instead of asking, what's my niche? What area of law should I specialize in? We should be asking, what are the problems I'm really passionate about solving? And whose pain points can I really understand and truly address?
Exactly. And by getting to that deeper level of understanding, what's really motivating those clients, you can go beyond just providing legal services, right? You become a problem solver, a trusted advisor, someone who can really guide them through these complex situations.
Okay, so give me an example. Like how does this actually play out in the real world?
Sure. So let's say you're a real estate lawyer, right? Traditionally, you might focus on the transactional aspects, the contracts, the deeds.
Right.
But what if you dig a little deeper and you start to uncover those underlying pain points?
Okay.
Maybe you start to see the family who's anxious about buying their first home, or the entrepreneur who's completely overwhelmed with the legal side of, expanding their business.
So you're not just looking at the legal documents, you're looking at the people behind the documents.
Exactly. And that's where you can really differentiate yourself. You're not just a legal technician anymore. You're a partner in helping them achieve their dreams.
I like that. That's a really powerful way to look at it. And it really aligns with this whole idea of building a niche organically.
Yeah.
Right? Not by forcing yourself into this predefined box, but by attracting people who you can genuinely help.
And the source even provides a framework for doing this. It all starts with identifying those burning pain points, the things that are really keeping your ideal clients up at night, and then figuring out how to create solutions that directly address those pain points.
So that could involve like creating educational materials,
Yeah.
that kind of break down these complex legal topics, or maybe developing like innovative service packages that are tailored to specific client needs.
Exactly. It's about understanding what truly matters to your clients and finding creative ways to add value and make a real impact on their lives.
This whole approach reminds me of that famous Robert Heinlein quote, specialization is for insects. It's like you say, as humans, we're wired to be adaptable, to solve problems creatively and to embrace a broader perspective.
And that resonates so strongly with the legal profession. Right? The law is constantly evolving. There are always new challenges emerging, and clients' needs are becoming increasingly complex. So that ability to adapt, to see the bigger picture, to apply your skills to a wider range of problems, that becomes absolutely crucial.
It's almost like we're being encouraged to become legal entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
In a way, to think outside the traditional boundaries of, our practice areas.
Yeah.
And to really see the law as a tool for making a positive difference in the world.
And that's where things get really exciting, because by shifting our focus from chasing niches to solving pain points, we open up a whole new realm of possibilities for how we can contribute to the profession and to society as a whole.
Yeah, now we're cooking. This has been such a great start to our deep dive, but we're just getting started. Stick with us for part 2, where we'll explore even more actionable insights and practical tips for applying this problem-solving mindset to your legal career. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back to the deep dive. And, before we move on, I want to kind of circle back to something we were talking about earlier, this idea that, chasing a specific niche too early on in your legal career can actually be limiting.
Yeah, it's like we're being told to choose our specialty before we've even had a chance to really explore, all the different areas of law, all the different things that are out there.
Exactly. And this really ties back to that Robert Heinlein quote. Specialization is for insects.
Right.
Insects are incredibly efficient, within their specific niche, but they don't really have that adaptability to thrive outside of those very narrowly defined roles.
Yeah.
Whereas, we as humans, we have the capacity to learn and grow and apply our skills to a much wider range of challenges.
And that makes you wonder if sometimes as lawyers we fall into that trap.
Yeah.
We become so focused on one narrow area of law that we miss out on opportunities to develop a more diverse skill set and ultimately to have a greater impact.
Absolutely. And that's where this focus on pain points can be so valuable, because it encourages us to think beyond just the legal doctrines and the procedures, to step outside of our comfort zone and really engage with the human stories, behind the legal issues.
So instead of just seeing a case, we start to see the individual, the family, the business.
Right.
And we begin to understand, the real world consequences of the legal challenges that they're facing.
Exactly. And that's how we shift from being just legal technicians to becoming legal problem solvers, using our knowledge and expertise to not just interpret the law, but to actually find creative solutions that address the root cause of our clients' pain points.
Okay, so can you give me like a concrete example of how this might actually play out in a real case?
Sure. So imagine you're a young lawyer and you're working on contract disputes, right? A traditional approach might be to just focus solely on the language of the contract, identify the breaches, and then pursue the legal remedies.
Right.
But what if you take a step back and you try to understand, why is there a dispute in the first place? Okay, maybe there was a breakdown in communication, maybe there was a misunderstanding of the terms, or maybe one of the parties was facing some external pressures that impacted their ability to actually fulfill their obligations.
Yeah, so you're looking beyond the words on the page. You're trying to understand the context, the bigger picture.
Exactly. And by recognizing those deeper issues, you can move beyond just enforcing the letter of the contract and start to explore more creative solutions that actually address the real needs of all the parties involved.
So maybe instead of going straight to litigation, you try to facilitate a mediated settlement that, helps to preserve the business relationship, or maybe you help the parties restructure the agreement in a way that prevents, future conflicts from arising.
Exactly. It's like we're using the law not as a weapon, but as a tool for building bridges and finding common ground, and ultimately creating more positive outcomes for everyone involved.
I love that. And it really speaks to this idea that, lawyers can be so much more than just adversaries. We can be facilitators, we can be mediators, we can be problem solvers, using our expertise to help people navigate complex situations and achieve their goals in a way that really benefits both individuals and society as a whole.
And that's where this approach, can really start to transform the legal profession.
This is so inspiring, but it could also imagine that there are some lawyers out there who might push back on this idea.
Yeah.
They might say, well, specialization is essential. You need to develop that deep expertise in a particular area of law in order to be successful.
And, they wouldn't be entirely wrong. There's definitely a need for specialists who have a really profound understanding of specific legal areas.
Right.
But I think the key is finding that right balance.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about rejecting specialization altogether. It's about recognizing that focusing solely on a narrow niche can actually limit our growth, it can limit our impact, and it can limit our ability to really connect with the human side of the law.
So it's more about having a strong foundation in a particular area of law while also remaining open to, learning new things, expanding our skill set, and seeing the interconnectedness of different legal disciplines.
Exactly. Think of it like building a house, right? You need a solid foundation to provide stability and support.
Right.
But you also need walls and windows and a roof, all these different components that work together to create a functional and beautiful structure. And in the same way, a successful legal career requires that blend of, specialized knowledge, adaptability, and a willingness to see the bigger picture.
That's such a great analogy, and it really reinforces this idea that,
Yeah.
we as lawyers, we have so much more potential than we might realize. It's not just about knowing the law, it's about using our knowledge and our skills to solve problems, to build relationships, and to make a positive difference in the world.
And that brings us back to the source's core message, this power of focusing on pain points.
Yep.
By understanding the challenges that our clients are facing, the anxieties that they're feeling, and the goals that they're striving for, we can tap into a much deeper level of service and become true advocates for positive change.
So for all of you listeners out there, whether you're a law student who's still trying to figure out your path, or you're a seasoned attorney who's looking to kind of reinvigorate your practice, I encourage you to embrace this mindset. Start asking yourself, what are the pain points that I'm passionate about addressing? How can I use my legal skills to make a tangible difference in the lives of others?
And remember, this isn't a one-time decision. It's a continuous journey of growth exploration. As the legal landscape evolves and new challenges emerge, we need to remain adaptable. We need to stay curious, and we need to be committed to using our expertise to create a more just and equitable world.
This has been such an insightful conversation, but we're not done yet. In part 3, we'll delve into some practical strategies and actionable steps that you can take to actually cultivate this problem-solving mindset and start making a real difference in your legal career and beyond. So stay tuned. All right, welcome back to the Deep Dive. So we spent this whole episode talking about how shifting our perspective from chasing these narrow niches to really focusing on addressing pain points can unlock this incredible potential for lawyers. But now let's get down to brass tacks.
Yeah.
How can you, our listener, actually integrate this problem-solving mindset into your everyday work as a lawyer?
Well, the source really emphasizes identifying those burning pain points as that crucial first step.
Right.
But for lawyers, this can feel a little abstract sometimes. It's not always as simple as a client coming in and saying, here's my problem, fix it.
Right, it's much more nuanced than that.
Yeah.
So how can we get better at recognizing those pain points, especially the ones that aren't explicitly stated?
Well, it starts with honing your observation skills and really tapping into your empathy. Pay close attention to the people you interact with and your work clients, colleagues, even opposing counsel. What are their frustrations? What challenges do they consistently encounter? What keeps them up at night?
So you're saying it's not just about the legal issues themselves, but it's about those emotional and practical challenges that really surround those issues.
Exactly. For example, you might be a family lawyer dealing with a divorce case. On the surface, the pain point seems obvious, the marriage is ending.
Right.
But if you really listen closely, you might discover these deeper anxieties. Maybe one party is terrified of losing their home, another's worried about the emotional toll this is taking on their children, or maybe they're both completely overwhelmed by the complexities of dividing their assets.
So by recognizing those deeper anxieties, you can go beyond just processing the legal paperwork, and you start to provide genuine support and guidance that's really tailored to their specific needs.
Precisely. And this approach applies no matter what area of law you're practicing in. Let's say you're a corporate lawyer working with startups. You might assume that their biggest pain point is securing funding.
Yeah.
But by engaging in open conversations and asking the right questions, you might uncover other anxieties. Maybe it's navigating regulatory hurdles. Maybe it's protecting their intellectual property, or maybe it's just building a sustainable business model.
That's where I think this problem-solving mindset really shines. It's not just about, applying legal principles. It's about understanding the human stories behind those legal issues and finding those creative solutions that really address the root causes of those pain points.
And remember, you don't have to have all the answers yourself. Part of being a good problem solver is knowing when to seek outside expertise or collaborate with others who have different perspectives and skill sets.
Collaboration is key. I love that. And, this source also talks about this importance of adaptability. So how can lawyers, especially those who are early in their careers, how can we cultivate that adaptability in a profession that's often so steeped in tradition?
Well, it's about embracing a growth mindset. Be willing to step outside of your comfort zone, learn new skills, experiment with different approaches. Don't be afraid to challenge conventional wisdom and really explore innovative ways to deliver legal services.
So instead of just, drafting traditional contracts, maybe you explore using technology to create more user-friendly agreements, or you develop alternative dispute resolution strategies that can save your client's time and money.
Exactly. And this ties back to what we were discussing earlier, that the need for balance between specialization and adaptability.
Right.
You can have a strong foundation in a particular area of law, but you also need to remain open to expanding your skill set, learning from others, and embracing those new technologies and approaches.
It's like being a lifelong learner, always seeking new knowledge, new perspectives, new ways to apply your legal skills to make a difference. And that leads me to another really crucial aspect of professional growth, which is mentorship. How can seeking guidance from experienced lawyers help us develop this problem-solving mindset?
Finding mentors who are known for their innovative approaches and their problem-solving abilities can be incredibly valuable.
Yeah.
They can offer insights, they can share their experiences, and they can provide guidance as you navigate the challenges of building your legal career.
Yeah, don't be afraid to reach out to lawyers that you admire, and ask for advice. Most seasoned attorneys are more than happy to share their wisdom and help shape the next generation of legal professionals. And this goes beyond just seeking guidance. Surround yourself with people who inspire you, who challenge you, and who support your growth. Build a network of colleagues, mentors, and friends who share your passion for using the law as a force for good.
Absolutely. And remember, this is a journey, not a destination. There will be setbacks, there will be challenges, there will be moments of doubt. But by embracing this problem-solving mindset, cultivating your adaptability, and building that strong support network, you can overcome those obstacles and create a legal career that is both fulfilling and impactful.
This deep dive has been such a fascinating exploration of how we as lawyers can move beyond simply practicing law to really making a difference in the world. By understanding and addressing those pain points, we can transform the way we approach our work and unlock this incredible potential for ourselves, our clients, and for the legal profession as a whole.
And as we wrap up, we want to leave you with this thought. What if, by focusing on solving pain points, we could create a legal system that is less adversarial and more focused on finding creative, collaborative solutions that benefit everyone involved? A system that is truly dedicated to justice, to fairness, and to the well-being of all members of society.
That's a powerful vision, and while it may seem ambitious, it's a goal worth striving for. By embracing the principles we've discussed today: empathy, adaptability, collaboration, and that commitment to lifelong learning. We can start to build that future, one client, one case, one innovative solution at a time. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Keep learning, keep growing, and keep making a difference. And